Hey, after the episode on the hamburgers on the Weber Go Anywhere, let's move up into the kettle grill. I'm thinking about maybe a pork tenderloin.
Oh, that would be too hard.
That's not hard. Just trust me. Let's go.
All right.
Hi, Susie and Leslie here. We're Grannies on the Grow. We're saying get off your butts. That's B-U-T, of course, and do what you love. Subscribe and be a Granny Fanny. Episode 19, How to Grill Pork Tenderloin, Weber Grill.
So I went off and I got a pork tenderloin, and we decided that the best way to do it would be to go ahead and season it for a few hours in some saran wrap, and then we could move on with the rest of the process of what we were going to be cooking that afternoon. When you open a pork tenderloin package, there's always two of those tenderloins in there. So we chose to just use one. We rolled it in some McCormick's steak and chop seasoning. We thought that that would make a good marinade and give the meat some flavor as we let it rest in the refrigerator for about 2.5 to 3 hours. After we did that, then we would move on to preparing the rest of the vegetables and then moving on to starting the grill to get the grill prepared and hot. Next thing I did was head out to the back where I could go ahead and start the chimney with the charcoal and get that fired up and prepared to dump into the grill. Once that lighter cubes were fired up, I then put the chimney on top with the charcoal that we were going to be using. Once the charcoal was preheating, I went back into the kitchen to start preparing the Brussels sprouts for roasting. That involved a lot of prepping and lining the pan with Reynolds aluminum foil. I am ready to try and roast Brussels sprouts. I always cut the stem off. When I cut the stem off, I always peel off one or two of the outside leaves because they usually are damaged or marred in some way. See, there's one that's kind of nasty. I don't like the looks of it. It looks like it's been hanging out someplace that you don't want to eat that. So I just peel that leaf right off of there. Going down another layer on this tiny little head of cabbage. That one's kind of stubborn, actually. There it is, came right off. See, now it's nice and clean. When you buy Italian dressing, it already has all that garlic in it. So I make sure it's nice and shaken. It has oil, vinegar, which you want, and garlic in it, and this actually has some red pepper in it. So once I do that, then I just kind of put enough in there that it's generous but not too much to cover them so that we can sort of roll them around in all that goodness. It does not have balsamic, so then I take a nice balsamic and I add some balsamic to it. Make them feel all nice and oiled up and loved in the hot sun. And then we've already prepped our pan. Kind of make sure that they're in a flat layer and not stacked up on top of each other. Those coals should be ready and hot now. Let's head on out back to the grill and go ahead and get everything going. This next part is the part I love. It's just visually appealing. I love dumping those fire hot coals like that, but I'm dumping them into the zone pattern that we need to use to start the cooking. You want to zone the fire into 2 sections so that you have a dead section with no heat underneath it. There it is. Boy, those are nice coals. They're really good and red. Perfect. They're perfect. Great. Tonight we're going to grill a nicely seasoned pork tenderloin. I'm going to sear it on all of its sides on the flame. I've got my grill divided into zones, so we've got heat on each side. Down the middle is no heat. So I'll sear it on all sides over the heat. Then when that's done, I'm going to move it into the center where there's no heat. I also have a pan of nicely prepared Brussels sprouts that we're going to roast while the pork is cooking. So first step is to go ahead and get this nicely seared on the fire.
So you're putting it between the two?
No, I'm going to put it right over the fire so it sears the juices in. And once it's seared, it's about 2 to 3 minutes as I roll it in place. Sear it, lock the juices in, then I'm going to move it into this off-fire section right here. It's called zone cooking. It works out great for things like pork and video. Hey, and by the way, if you want to see our other video on hamburgers on a Weber Grill, check out the card up here. It'll take you to the link to that video of the hamburgers that we grilled. We did that on a Weber Go Anywhere. This is a regular Weber small kettle. It's perfect for just a small number of people. Okay, so it's nicely seared now, nicely browned. You see that sear? That trapped all the nice juices in it. And now I'm just going to move it here to the center, off of the direct heat, right down the middle. And I'm going to put these Brussels sprouts right in there too, so those can roast. And I'm going to put the lid on this and make sure these vents are not completely closed, just a little ways open, like that. We're going to come back in about, we're going to look at it in about 15 minutes as the fire does its thing. So basically we created an oven here.
Yep, I just wish that this you could have smell-o-vision.
Yeah, the smell is
because
pretty
it's so
awesome,
different.
yeah.
It smells really
Yeah,
good.
it smells good already, and it's only halfway cooked at this point. So I'm gonna check my watch as any good grill master should. So yeah, I'm gonna come out in about 15 just to check on it. The internal temperature should be 140, 145. That's when it's cooked completely. You can do that with a meat thermometer, or if you choose, you can cut into it and make sure that it's all not pink, all ashen, or whatever that color is that pork should be. And then it would be done. So we'll come back in just a few. Here's the plate. Are we going?
Yep.
All right, it's done. Oh, it looks great. Check that out. Doesn't that look great?
Ooh, yeah.
And these Brussels sprouts, oh, those look wonderful. Those are going to be great. All right, I'm going to put the gloves on so I can carry that in. And I think we're going to be ready to let that meat rest for 5 minutes before we cut into it. It needs to rest, as in stop the juices from flowing before you start to cut it. Yeah, doesn't that look delicious? It smells pretty darn good, doesn't it? Do you know where I put those gloves?
As my dad said, it stinks pretty.
Now, if I just could find where I put the black gloves. Pork, you want to cut it on sort of like a bias because it's such a narrow piece of meat. So we're just going to start to cut some of these pieces off of here. These last little nuggets are just where a lot of good flavor is. So once I get past that, you'll see I see a finger encroaching here.
It has a wonderful smoky taste.
Oh, you think?
Mm-hmm. And what was the temperature inside?
So you want to aim for at least 140, so we know it's definitely cooked. It even has a little bit of a smoke ring on it, which we get a little further in, that might become a little more obvious. I don't know if that will show up for you on camera, but there's a little bit of a smoke ring going on right there on that piece. You can see that little pink outside? That's a smoke ring. We're going to have more episodes in the future, by the way, so come on back. We're going to be camping next weekend, and we plan on doing some camp cooking, maybe even using my Dutch oven. Definitely we'll do some grilling. We'll be out for a couple of nights, so that's an episode you don't want to miss. We're going to maybe try some fun stuff, like maybe some scones or something different. I wish you could smell these Brussels sprouts. They just smell delicious. Wonderful Brussels sprouts that are roasted.
And a Caesar salad.
And a Caesar salad for you.
Here we go. The table's ready.
Cool. Let's dig in. Well, we just finishing off that dinner, and I thought it was delicious and tasty. What do you think?
I thought it was scrumdiddlyumptious.
Yeah, it looks like maybe you just finished eating another little nub in there.
I'm still chewing the salad.
So we wanted to thank everybody for watching. We wanted to ask you to remember to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hey, and if you have any ideas that you'd like for us to try out grilling, leave it in the comments. We'd love to give it a shot. We'd love to try and give you a shout out that the idea came from you. So hit the bell if you subscribe so you get notifications of when we got new videos. And check out our links down below in the description to find our Patreon page and our Grannies on the Grow t-shirt shop. So thanks again, everyone. Bye.
Bye and bon appetit.